Right now, as you watch this, an algorithm is already guessing what you'll do next, what you'll tap, what you'll watch, when you'll get bored and scroll on. Often a beat before you've decided yourself. And every guess it makes, it spends on one thing, keeping you exactly where you are. Internet users worldwide now average almost 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's more than 35 days a year. Gone, inside a feed engineered by teams whose whole job is to keep you watching. Not to inform you, not to connect you, just to keep you there. And what should unsettle you isn't what the feed does while you scroll. It's what your brain keeps doing after you put it down. Have you ever closed an app and felt worse than before you opened it? Watched a stranger's vacation and quietly wondered if you're falling behind? Gone to check one notification and looked up an hour later with no memory of what you saw? You're not broken and you're not weak. This is exactly what the system is built to produce. Something that captures you, studies you, and sells you back a version of yourself you never agreed to. So, the oldest trick first. You don't measure how your life is going in a vacuum. You measure it against the people around you. It's automatic and it's ancient. Back in 1954, the psychologist Leon Festinger gave that instinct a name. We have a built-in drive to size ourselves up by comparing to others. For most of human history, that meant a handful of neighbors. Then the feed handed that ancient instinct an infinite buffet. Every scroll is another 100 lives to measure yourself against. But what you're scrolling isn't anyone's real life. It's a highlight reel. Weddings, promotions, beaches, perfect bodies. You're holding your ordinary Tuesday morning up against 1,000 strangers' single best moment of the whole year. And here's the part that stings. The damage is worst when you're doing the least. The research on Facebook and Instagram points most consistently at passive scrolling, just silently taking it all in, as what leaves people feeling worse afterward. Your brain quietly logs every comparison, and nearly all of them whisper the same thing. You're behind. But comparison is the gentle problem. The next trick is engineered to make you angry. Watch how your own feed makes you feel for a single day, and you'll spot it. The posts that travel farthest are the ones that make you furious. That's no accident. In 2018, the MIT researchers Soroush Vosoughi, Deb Roy, and Sinan Aral tracked more than 100,000 stories spreading across Twitter. False news traveled roughly 6 times faster than the truth, carried on a wave of surprise and disgust. And the platforms learned to ride that wave. Internal Facebook documents, reported by the Washington Post in 2021, revealed that for a time, reaction emoji like the angry face were weighted far more heavily than a plain like when the system decided what you saw. The more provocative the post, the harder it got pushed. Outrage wasn't a bug in the feed, it was fuel. So when your timeline feels louder and angrier than the street outside your window, it's because it is. The feed isn't showing you the world. It's showing you whatever rips the strongest reaction out of you, then learning every single day how to do it again. And while it was busy keeping adults angry, it was doing something quieter and darker to kids. And maybe this part was you. Or maybe it's someone you love right now. Your kid, your little sister, a student in your class. Because around 2012, the data did something strange. Rates of teen depression, anxiety, and self-harm, flat for decades, began to climb. Sharply. The psychologist Twenge noticed the timing lined up almost exactly with smartphones landing in teenagers' hands. The social psychologist Jonathan Haidt later gathered data across several countries showing the same shape, with the steepest rise among teenage girls, the heaviest users of image-driven apps. And Facebook's own leaked research admitted that for 1 in 3 teen girls who already felt bad about their bodies, Instagram made it worse. Now you might already be pushing back. Correlation isn't proof. And you're right. No single study closes this case. But the timing, the same pattern repeating country after country, and the company's own internal memos add up to something hard to wave away. A generation handed a comparison machine at the exact age their sense of self was most fragile. And there's a quieter cost in all this, and it's happening to you right now. Be honest. How many times have you felt the pull to check something else just since this video started? That pull has a history. The researcher Gloria has studied human attention for more than 2 decades. Her team measured how long we stay focused on a single screen before switching away. In 2004, it averaged about 2.5 minutes. By 2023, it had fallen to roughly 47 seconds. Every swipe, every refresh, every little red badge trains your brain to expect something new within seconds. The feed teaches you to abandon a task the instant it turns boring. And then reading a book, holding a long conversation, sitting with one hard problem, all of it starts to feel unbearably slow. Mark's team also tied that constant switching to higher stress and a worse mood by the end of the day. So the real cost was never just the minutes you lost. It's a mind slowly forgetting how to stay anywhere for long. And the next thing the feed came for is even more personal. Your own face. Filters used to be a joke. Dog ears, a flower crown. But open your camera today, and a beauty filter can quietly reshape your jaw, narrow your nose, smooth your skin, and widen your eyes. In real time, before you've even taken the picture. Then around 2018, plastic surgeons started reporting something new. Patients walking in holding a filtered selfie and asking to look like it. In a paper that year, the researchers Rajanala, Maymone, and Vashi called it Snapchat dysmorphia. The face people wanted was no longer a celebrity's. It was an algorithm's smoothed-out version of their own. And the more those filters get used, the worse the body image data looks, especially for young women. Because you're not just comparing yourself to strangers anymore. You're comparing yourself to a flawless, impossible version of you, one that exists only inside an app and looks a little more real every year. So what is all of this actually doing inside your head? Here's the part I promised you at the start. Early brain imaging work on heavy and problematic social media use reports differences in regions tied to reward, self-focus, and self-control. The research is still young, and it's correlational, so no one can honestly claim cause and effect. But it isn't nothing, because here's what it adds up to, in plain language. The more you scroll, the more your brain rehearses one routine. Comparing, judging, scanning, quietly worrying about how you measure up. The platform doesn't just take your time, it practices a way of thinking in you. And like any skill you practice enough, it keeps running after you close the app. In line at the store, across the dinner table, the moment you meet someone new. So what actually helps? Start with the simplest move there is. Cut the passive scrolling. The research keeps pointing the same direction. Silently watching other people is where the harm clusters most, while genuinely reaching out to someone tends to land differently. So treat social media like a tool to reach one specific person, not a slot machine to fill an empty afternoon. Second, turn down the machine built to pull you back in. Silence the alerts you never switched on. Take the like counts off your screen. Drop the accounts that reliably make you feel small. Put a real limit on the one app that costs you the most. The off switches are all there. The platforms just don't put them front and center. Flipping them anyway is one of the most powerful things you can do. Social media isn't going away, but you don't have to be the product. The same brain that learned to crave the feed can learn to question it. Notice when a scroll leaves you feeling worse. Notice the comparison. Notice the outrage. Then put the phone down. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. And right now, billion-dollar companies are competing for every second of it. So next time you reach for your phone, ask one thing. Am I using this, or is it using me? If that landed, subscribe. Because next time, it's why first impressions are almost always wrong. The snap judgment your brain makes about a stranger before they've said a single word.